Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much, ladies, for agreeing to join us on this call tonight. And this call, the purpose of it is really to share with other women what's possible. Okay? Because there are so many
Brandon
of
Brian sent
us
a new message
who
to me.
were in place where we are like stuck in the situation. We were in the job we didn't like. We would be, maybe home with the baby, and we didn't want to go back to work. And I mean, how many of us were in that situation? And I know that you ladies, I've met you over the past 10 years. So I've watched you and I've worked alongside you for so many years. And I watched you in that span of time. For some of you, it was 10 years. Some of you I know for 5. Some of you I just met recently. But I watched you to go from that place, that desperate place, to now amazing, freaking great lifestyle. So why don't we start? Let's start with Tam. Tam, would you share with us your story, where you were before, what happened for you, and where are you now?
Yes, thank you so much. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, awesome. Lenka, thank you so much for doing this. This is I'm excited to share my story. Lenka and I have known each other for 10 years, and we were in a business together. That's where we met. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My parents were entrepreneurs. I watched them build a business in the Midwest, a home improvement business. They did it together. And it was just everything I wanted to be. That's the lifestyle I wanted to create, and I wanted to do it with my spouse. That was the major piece of it all, because I saw my parents do so well together. So over the years, of course, I went to college. I became a flight attendant, and I traveled around the world, but really just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. When I finally graduated from college and started working, I determined that I was going to work a job and do a side hustle. So I started right away. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I was all about doing real estate. And so I went into commercial real estate so I can get more information and understand the industry a little bit better. But at the same time, I was buying property. So I bought my first property. I was living in California, but I bought my first property in Ohio. Then I bought my second property, and then I bought a duplex, and then I bought another duplex, and then I got a multiplex. So I'm like going crazy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really understand how this is going. This is the beginning of the 2000s. So I went from no money, and if you really hear my whole story, you'll find out how crazy this was. But I went from no money to making $250,000 within a year just from real estate. And I thought, holy smokes, I really know what I'm doing. At the same time, you guys, I was married. I had met a man right before I went into real estate, and he was not into what I was trying to do. He was definitely not an entrepreneur. And so I had a little conflict there. 2008, the economy changed. I started losing my properties. I lost me and my husband wasn't getting along really at the same right around that time, but I lost my marriage. I almost lost my son. He threatened to take him away from me. I lost my job because the economy was so messed up. So I went from making a lot of money in real estate all the way down to literally sleeping on my girlfriend's couch, literally. And it was a really, really bad time. Now, all I really wanted, you guys, was to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to have the lifestyle my parents had. So I found a multi-level marketing company that helped me to lose weight. It was something that worked for me. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. I can do this. This is what Rich Dad, Poor Dad was talking about. And I got so excited and started doing pretty okay in that company and started coming back alive. And after a lot of trials and error and learning a lot from that company, I determined it wasn't exactly the fit that I wanted personally to do, but I learned so much from it and it also taught me and showed me what I really wanted to do. What I wanted to do was be a coach. That's what I really wanted to do. But the problem was there's a lot of coaches out here that don't make any money, right? So I had to figure out what kind of coaching did I want to do. Here I am dabbling and have my main job, and I have my side hustle, and I'm not being serious about really doing it because I didn't have, the lifestyle that my parents had, and it didn't look like I wanted it to look. Then my mom got sick. So you guys, on the outside, what I wanted was to make my mom proud. On the outside, what I wanted was to have this lifestyle my parents have. But on the inside, what really was going on all this time was that I wanted to make my mom proud. That's what I really wanted, right? I wanted my child to look at me like I looked at my parents. That's what I really, really wanted, right? And my mom got sick. And I had to figure out, now I have this regular job, right? I'm kind of messing around with my coaching business on the side, not doing it really seriously. And I had to make a determination, what am I going to do? Because I needed to take off work. If I don't work, I don't get paid. And that's when it hit me. That's when the epiphany hit me, that you either need to do it, as they say, shit or get off the pot. You need to do it or don't, right? And that's what really did it for me, okay? My mom passed, and I realized time is way too short to mess around. And so I got serious, and I wrote books, and I started really coaching, and I started getting clients, and I started building my business. And before long, you guys, I was able to walk away from my job. Wow. Now, this is what I had been trying to do all this time, side hustling, couldn't figure out how to do it. But what had to happen was I had to really see that, it was up to me. I had to make it happen. And I finally left my job, and I'm able to now make more. I make twice as much money as I was making in my main job. I'm coaching the way I want. I'm doing exactly what I love. And I couldn't be more happy. I'm leaving for Thailand in 2 days to, that's the other part of my thing. I told you I was a flight attendant. I love traveling. So I've been able to create exactly what I want in my business. And so that's my story.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. So from MLM to kind of traditional business, and I know part of that business is still a little bit of MLM. So it's a beautiful blend, and it all works great together. Thank you, Tam. I'm going to ask Rachel. Rachel, what kind of business do you run, and how did it happen for you? What happened for you?
Yeah, so thank you, Linka, for doing this. Real talk with women about where we're at in life is just so beneficial for other future entrepreneurial women getting, their own business going. And I just think it's wonderful. So thank you for having us. Let's see. So I do a traditional business. I have a marketing company. But where I was at before was I had a very stressful job. I was, what was I going to say? I was driving home from work every day crying. I was having bad dreams about my boss. Nobody should have to live like that. And basically I was wanting to make more money, and I was at the top of where my position was at. There was no room for growth, and I knew I wanted something more. I knew I wanted a lifestyle that would provide me more of my dreams and what I wanted. And I wanted to be happy. I mean, who doesn't want to be happy? So that was huge for me. I was really frustrated. So I was like, let's do this. So I quit one day and I started my own company with my husband, and, everything was, we just went for it. We just said, let's do this. It took about a full year to really feel confident, like we had it going. But I would have to say, looking back, our first month, we made $20,000, which is more money that I never made before my entire life. So that's what kept the momentum going. There was downtimes too. Like I said, it took about a full year to get it going. But like overall, I would say that by putting myself out there, collaborating, connecting with other entrepreneurials, talking to everybody. If I can give any advice for where I got that first year, I just talked to everybody, because anybody might need your services and you never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to go. And so that was probably for me the most positive thing that I did for myself, and keeping positive. There's going to be, people who question, what are you doing? Why did you quit your job? That's not going to work. And you know what? You can just listen and say, I'm not going to let that in. You can listen to people and say, okay, that's your opinion. And you just don't let it in, because it'll deter you from your end goal. And your end goal is to be successful, multimillionaire and making your own schedule, which, we do make our own schedule now. And I love that. I love that a Saturday is sometimes a Saturday and sometimes it's a Tuesday. And I never dread Mondays. I always love Mondays. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your share. Mm-hmm. So traditional business, great. And you made it from scratch. You made it happen. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Now let's give it to Celeste. Celeste is on her way to some amazing stuff that's happening tonight. Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Hey guys, thank you so much, Lenka. For the past 7 years knowing you, it's been just incredible. You've been such a light in the entrepreneurial world for women, just for everything. So this is just awesome to come full circle and be on this call. And I'm so inspired by each of your stories, Rachel and Tamara. It's like great. I know Tamara from before, but I don't know if we've met Rachel, but myself personally, so I had this moment. I'm from the Bay Area. I've lived in LA the past at least 10 plus years. And when I had this moment on my 25th birthday where I knew that something had to change, I had hit this rock bottom in my life. I graduated from a top tier university in Northern California, and I was trying to get a job. People were not paying any attention to my applications, or maybe they were and they were just denying them, but I wasn't hearing back from anybody. My student loans were starting to stack up at this point, and I just remember going out for my 25th birthday, and I looked dolled up kind of like I do right now, and it was a very different feeling on the inside, because what was happening on the inside is I knew that I had negative $27 in my bank account. I knew I had nothing to show for all of my hard work, and I wasn't doing anything that was on track to building any type of success or wealth for myself. I didn't have a plan, and it was very, very scary, because I saw some of my friends starting to excel. That was the point of their lives where, they were starting to see some of the fruits of their labor. So I really felt behind, and I was just really hard on myself and beating myself up. But I said, you know what, never again. And I made a pact with myself, like I might not have all the answers right now, but I'm going to work hard enough and I'm going to figure this thing out. And by the time I hit 30, I want to be, not only financially stable, but financially thriving. Mm-hmm. And that set the course to be able to find the business opportunity that I'm a part of. Let me make sure this guy can get around me. Sorry. So that put me on track. And at 27, I found a business opportunity in the health and wellness domain, a multi-level marketing business, where I really started off not knowing that was going to be the vehicle for me. Like when I was first exposed to it, I just thought, great, I really do need some good products. I was working in a corporate setting. My waistline was starting to expand. A lot of different changes were happening to my body, and the weight just wasn't coming off the way that it used to. So I started the products and they worked, and that spoke volumes to me. And naturally, the people around me asked about what it was that I was doing. So from that point, I gravitated towards the business opportunity because I didn't have much to lose. I was working an hourly wage and barely getting by. It was enough to pay. By the time my rent was paid, by the time my cell phone bill was paid and my car note and insurance was paid, I might have had $100 if I was lucky of wiggle room to buy some food and some other things. So I considered it as a win and a success at that point in my life if my bank account didn't go into the negatives. Like if I stayed, even if I was like a penny over, it was like, okay, we're doing good. And that was my standard of success at that point in my life at 27. So when I found this business opportunity, it was like, well, this can only be good. It can only be up from here. And one of the reasons I was drawn to a multi-level marketing, network marketing business opportunities, because it's a low level of investment. I believe it costs $68 for me to sign up at the time, and something like that for somebody that has no background in business. You know, my mom and my dad didn't own businesses, so I wasn't really taught or given the levers of success from my parents when it comes to the tools and the resources. And so for me, it made sense. I said, okay, I think I can do this. Okay. There, you know, there's mentors that are built into the system. I said, and inside of the mentorship, they're going to teach me the basics. And so from that point, from knowing the basics is just doing it over and over and over again. So basically, what ended up happening was I went all in and I built a client base. Within 3 months, I replaced my corporate America income, which was just incredible, life-changing, everything. Within 1 year, we cracked a 6-figure income. And I say we because, you know, you build a team inside of network marketing. So, but the income, I mean, I built a 6-figure income within the first year. And within 2 years, it was a multiple 6-figure income. And the revenue net worth of my actual business was over $1 million in the first year and a multi-million-dollar business in the second year. And so that was really cool to see, okay, there's something here where somebody with no background in business, just when it comes to, I'm not the girl where things just come super easy to me. I have to work for everything. I had to work for grades in school. Like I had to study for the tests. So it wasn't like I'm super gifted or anything like that. It was just, you know, I was given a roadmap and I agreed to it, and I decided to work harder than I had ever worked before on anything. And, you know, I really saw that I wasn't the only one. There's people who came from completely different backgrounds than me, that it panned out for them as well. And the common denominator was, you know, how coachable are you? You know, how much are you willing to put in? You know, the people that went all in and really put their best foot forward and sought out their mentors, chased their mentors down, and really, really listened and stuck to the basics and did it over and over and over again, which would be my tip for anybody who is thinking about or wanting to go into business, whether that be traditional business or multi-level marketing business, because you know, really at this point, if you want to, you get rich quick, but you build wealth slow. And so if we want to do that, we need to create some type of leverage, and business is the way that you can create that leverage. You know, with myself and anyone who's in network marketing, you build a team, and, you know, your team gets to a point where they outwork you, and it continues to just grow with or without you. So it feels good to have a business that works even when I'm not working. You know, it's working and I'm going to a gala tonight and the business is still going. So that's the goal right there. To me, Tony Robbins said, you know, you don't have a business until you can leave for a year and it still continues to grow without you. So, you know, I'm definitely working towards that, where it's like super rock solid and growing. You know, right now it'll sustain, but I don't know if it would grow at this point. That's the goal for me. So I love business. I love entrepreneurship. You get to do things, give back in higher ways. You know, more money makes you more of who you are. So today was really cool, actually, because myself and 2 of my business partners just started a nonprofit. We literally went down today. We filled out the paperwork for the 501c3, and to really be able to do, you know, to really be able to do philanthropy work on a higher level. And that's just some of the cool things that, like, I see my entrepreneurship friends able to do, simply because, you know, there's more resources, there's more capital, there's more resources to be able to give back on a higher level and at a higher capacity. So just being able to do that, and then getting ready. I'm in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hilton right now, about to go to the Power 100. It's for Ebony, one of my friends, just is getting recognized tonight, and like Michelle Obama's in the house, like cool stuff. I'm just like, this is unbelievable. So you know, we're all in this together. One thing I love about my entrepreneur family is that, you know, we want to see each other win. You know, we want to see each other make it. Your success doesn't impact mine in a way. It does in a way that I want to see you win, each and every one of you, and everybody out there that's trying to make something of themselves. And at the end of the day, there's an abundance, so we can all have it. Again, if you really want something bad enough, you work towards it, you know, you'll pull it in closer to yourself. So I don't know if I have any other questions to answer, but, you know, I just wanted to share that.
You kind of answered it all. And just mentioning that philanthropy towards the end of what you shared brought back so many memories. And it just came back, like, back in 2012, I organized my first 5K, and it was a small thing on a community level, and we were raising funds for children with cleft palate. It's something I stand for. You guys know Team Smile. We're going strong, right? We are supporting these surgeries. And so that was my first step back in 2012 to do something. And Celeste, you and your team were the first people to volunteer, to jump in and to run that 5K. And I am forever grateful for that, because you've always been.
I remember.
And tonight you could have been stressing about your event and you know, prepping for that and being all about like, no, not tonight, I have a big event. But here you are talking to women who are just about to make that leap of faith and make that first step towards their beautiful future. So thank you so much for that. And if you need to run, please feel free to go.
Yeah.
Please, thank you so
ladies, so much. I'm excited to see the recording so I can catch what I missed. But it's been an honor, and it's been great to hear the intro to your guys' story. Sorry for hopping off early, but you guys have a good night.
You too. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So this is what we get to do. And Celeste kind of answered all those questions, but for you two ladies, I have 2 more questions. So I'll start with you, Rachel. How long did it take for you and your husband to build that business? And what did it take of you to be who you are today?
Oh, okay. I believe I answered those 3 in the first answer, but so it took us about a year to build where we're at today. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
What did it take of you to become who you are today?
Oh, absolutely. So it took perseverance. It took me feeling grounded each and every day. I feel that you know me pretty well, that I'm into health and fitness and wellness. So I don't feel grounded if I'm not eating a good diet, and I'm not working out, and I'm not surrounding myself around positive people. So those, and also taking time away from social media, those things help me to feel grounded. So by feeling grounded, I'm able to present my best self with everybody in my life, including my clients. And so I feel that is really important. And, you know, you just press on. Even if you don't know where you're going, you just press on, because you have that feeling in your soul that you are going somewhere, and it is going to, you know, fruition, it is going to come true. So you don't second guess yourself.
Beautiful, thank you. And Tam, how about you? How long did it take for you to get to where you're at today? And what did it take of you?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Lincoln. That's a good question. I feel like it's taken my whole life to get to this moment. I feel like that. I feel like because everything that I've ever done and experienced has like shown up like right now, you know, and I think that's a good point to make at this point, that sometimes just try stuff, because sometimes we have, you know, I want to do something, I don't know what to do something, just do anything. What does it come? And I remember a few years ago, an very successful entrepreneur told me, follow your heart. And as hokey and a cliche as that is, that's literally what it takes, is to follow your heart. So literally, my mom passed away exactly 2 years, almost around this time of the year. I started getting super serious right after that, right? Super serious. We bought a house shortly after that. I just started getting into massive action. First tip, massive action is the key to anything, right? You figure out what you're going to do, or just do something massively. So the first thing I decided to do was, which sounds so crazy, because there's another epiphany I had around this time, was I started, writing the book, right? Because it's something that was in my heart to do, right? I didn't know what it was going to lead to, but I wanted to coach, and I figured that to separate myself, I need to write a book. So I started going for that. I got a coach to teach me because I didn't know what to do, right? Massive action. And I was working. Like I thankfully got a job that didn't require me to put a lot of brain power into it. So every moment that I had, I was working on my business, right? Until it took me about a year to match my income at my job. Okay. And so once I matched my income, I still was too nervous to leave right away. Right. But then the reason why I ended up leaving my job, couple reasons, but one of the massive reasons that took me out was it started to get in the way of my job. My business was starting to, I didn't have enough time to do my main job anymore. It was like, oh gosh, I gotta go. So what did it take of me?
Yeah.
It took just me being consistent, focused, doing personal development every day, having fun, right? A lot of times in the past, I haven't always had fun. I've been doing stuff that I didn't want to do, and I wasn't having fun. Now, even to this moment, I have so much fun every single day. I work very hard. I work every day. I don't work all day, but I work when I'm around my family, but I get a chance to spend time with my family. I'm home when my son gets home. I mean, all of it is worth it. And I love it so much, and I think that if a woman has the opportunity to stay home and run her own business and be around to create her own lifestyle that she wants and have the freedom, she should try to do that. You just can't beat that.
Absolutely. So going back to Rachel, last thoughts, what would be the one piece of advice that we would give to someone who is just about to become an entrepreneur?
Oh gosh, just one? Well, I have a few, but I'm like, do I have to keep it just one? I think, prioritize. You don't have to get everything done in one day. Look at your list of what you're doing and how you're connecting with others or your clients or whatever business you decide for yourself. Prioritize and see what you can put off till tomorrow, because there's lots of things that you don't have to finish that day. You can do the next day and you won't feel as overwhelmed. That's probably one. And then another thing is probably give yourself props and love. I think too often people compare where they're at versus where others are at, and everybody's on their own path, especially entrepreneurials. It does take time to grow a business, and like I said earlier, perseverance. So don't just make sure to love yourself and give yourself that, like, hey, that whether you're high-fiving yourself or someone else that you're with in the room of, hey, I did that today, just giving yourself that time to actually say that, and again, not comparing yourself to others.
I love it.
Yeah. And lastly, but not least, I'd like to say collaborate with other women. I mean, there might be men that watch this eventually later, but I'm assuming the video is going towards most entrepreneurial women, and collaborate with others. We don't have to do this alone. We can network, we can work with other people, and we can lift each other up. We're not trying to compare like we did back in the day 20, 30 years ago of my information for me. we can all collaborate and help each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Tam?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, my video cut out. Yes, thank you.
We can hear you fine. Tam, what would be your piece of advice?
Well, my last piece I love that advice that Rachel just gave when she said to basically celebrate, because that's the same thing I would say. Celebrate everything. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the big wins. Celebrate everything. Celebrate daily. And I think that, I was talking about, being consistent, maybe just start with being consistent, making your bed in the morning. This morning, celebrate. Whatever you do, celebrate. And then it'll give you the energy to do it again the next week, right? And and be kind to yourself, and that's why I said have fun all the time. Everything that you're doing, have fun. Oh, here's another really big piece of advice. Because this is something I was going through in my life as an entrepreneur, is I didn't want to acknowledge anything until I reached the mountaintop. Like it was like I didn't want to, it's like I was delaying gratification, and so I couldn't be happy with my results until they were the best results.
Wow.
Right? I was making 6 figures. You can't celebrate that. No way, heck no. You sell $1 and I'm like, yeah.
So that'll be my new thing now.
Right.
High five myself.
I know, I'm just like, Rachel basically said it, but it's just one of the biggest things, I think. Having fun all along the journey.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for taking time of your incredibly busy schedules. It's Friday afternoon and you're here on a call with us. I appreciate it. I thank you. And for all of you who are watching this, don't be afraid. There are so many of us who will hold you high and who will not let you fail or fall if you commit to you. And if you are coachable, you can have a wonderful, beautiful business, and with that, amazing lifestyle. So with that said, we are going to say goodnight and goodbye. And again, ladies, I can't wait to work with you further. And let's see what we can create from here. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.